have a good, sign a contract with a team, review the team, and just kind of disappear. And then they go somewhere else, and the situation there is just right for them, and all of a sudden they produce again. We see that all the time in the league. And it's funny how fans have selective memory and kind of forget that.
Yeah, as I say, most fans are stupid anyway. So
okay, which one looks like Kurt Angle? Because I got a feeling you're talking about Joe.
It's true. It's true.
No, it's damn true.
Damn.
I like Kurt Angle, man.
So don't I, but my favorite version of him was Perk Angle.
So, Strillo, I mean, your team, man, I was talking about yesterday, man, you guys just can't get away from injuries, and the season hasn't even started yet. I have a feeling you guys are hosting a ton of guys at camp this year.
Man, don't let see, you just said something about training camp being a bunch of hype stuff. Injuries during training camp, if you're on an active PUP, that don't mean shit to me. Okay, is when you go on a reserve PUP, that means something to me. Okay, Terrion Arnold's back.
Okay.
Derek Barnes is back.
So you don't think like any of these guys, because yesterday was a pretty long list of guys they moved to PUPs and NFIs. You're not concerned about any of that? Some of those guys may translate over to the inactive.
Yeah, maybe. But if they do, they do. They're still going to be back they're still going to be back by the beginning of the season. I'm not worried about it. I'm not. This is going to happen. It happens in everybody's training camp. There's people that go down in training camp all the time. They're going to be back. I mean, like Levi is a lost cause because obviously he tore his ACL, so he's going to be out for the rest of the year. Aleen's not going to be back till probably October, November-ish, probably more like October because they said he's doing pretty well. Malcolm Rodriguez is probably going to be coming back earlier than anticipated. I mean, they got people coming back. I mean, Aiden Hutchinson is one of the main guys they need to come back anyway. The secondary is good, so I'm not too worried about it. They just got to pay Anzalone or let him walk, whatever the hell they want to do.
And when I said that they're going to be hosting guys, I didn't mean that in a negative connotation either. But I mean, if I were the Lions, I'd host guys. If I got guys on the PUP and I can bring some other bodies to look at, because maybe I got some guys, towards the bottom of my roster that if I can maybe get an upgrade by bringing guys in who run signed right now and just take a look and maybe catch lightning in a bottle. I mean, it doesn't hurt, right? And I agree with you. Like, the NFI and the PUP at this point aren't like major, oh my God, but you still pay attention to it. And at some point, I don't know where that point is. Those, it's not a big deal. Or is that byline where it becomes like, okay, wait a minute, this dude might miss time. So I don't look at if they're putting players on the NFI, like, what are you supposed to be on vacation? He goes, Case Keenum's off the PUP list, championship, and he laughs. At what point, like Jalen Johnson's on the active NFI, right? At what point do Bears fans go, okay, Jalen's still in the NFI. When's this going to affect the season, right? And obviously we're early in camp, so it's not yet. But is it like if they're still in the NFI or the PUP coming into the third and final preseason game, is that when we start going?
I guess you could start getting worried about the later it is into training camp. Yeah, obviously. But you ever notice if you look on your transaction report for your team, you always see them signing like a cornerback that you ain't never heard of before, or a linebacker that you ain't never. These are people who are just going to be stepping in while the second guys that are behind the ones that are on the PUP list right now are taking over. So they said, well, let's get this guy to come in there. He's a camp body. Let's bring him in here. So I see that all the time.
Yeah.
Really, when you need to get worried, and you're right, the further along in training camp that goes along, and you're getting closer to week one, then that's when you start saying, what's going on with this guy? Because like Levi was a mystery to us at first because Levi was taken off. And he said, he's not going to be back until week 4 of the season. Like, what the hell? And then they say, he's not going to be back at all because he's got an ACL. See, with the Lions, too, the medical reports are kind of, forthcoming.
Yeah, it's like with Braxton Jones. We didn't expect Braxton Jones to even be at camp for the injury last year, and they just cleared him for full practice day one. It's like, so we got us a nice little left tackle battle going on in Chicago because we didn't expect them. The injury reports can be, we've been told, I guess I'd rather be told it's going to be 12 weeks and have them come back in 8 than have them say it's going to be 8 weeks and they come back in 12.
Right.
And I don't mind it bringing in camp bodies because, like I said, sometimes you bring in camp bodies, and one of these camp bodies, the guy who's going to be 50 on the roster is now not on the roster because a camp body, like, ooh, we really like what this thing he does, or this other thing, and you get some surprises, and it's not a bad thing. It's just for me the pup at NFI becomes problematic probably once you can start getting the week 2, 3 of camp because all right, these guys need to start getting reps for the season to prepare for the season. And if you're going to be like Jalen Johnson, I'll just use him for an example, and they're saying, well, he misses all of camp, but he's good for week 1. No, he's not. Because he won't have gotten any reps during camp. He won't have gotten any practice. How is he going to be good for week 1? I hate when teams sugarcoat that. I mean, okay, fine meetings, but they need some reps.
Veterans are one thing. Okay, Jalen Johnson is a veteran. So if he is able to come back week 1, obviously he's going to have a week of practice before he plays that week 1 game. So I don't have no problem. If it's a rookie,
rookies.
That's a whole different story. You're like, oh well, no, hell no, he ain't gonna come back on week 1 because, dude, you don't even know your position. You don't even know what to play in the front line.
But it also depends. Like, let's say in Jalen Johnson's case, like installing a new defense, new defensive coordinator. So it's like if the defense is not much different than the defense we were running last year. The Eberflus defense, okay, not that big of a deal. If it's minor, adjustments, changes, whatever, it's not as big of a deal for a vet. If it's a brand new defense install with massive changes, though, I would be more comfortable with him getting a couple reps during, camp than just 1 week of practice.
I mean, he plays the cornerback position for one thing, and that's the second hardest position I think in on the field because you have to anticipate the quarterback. You have to know where the receiver is going. You have to do your homework when you play cornerback. It's as simple as it is. And then you got to make the plays, and you got to tackle and all that stuff. So you got a whole bunch of stuff that you got to worry about. But I think that's what's simple for corners on a defense. I think linebackers and defensive linemen more have that. If they don't have that structure with a defensive coordinator, if he changes stuff, changes the defense, they are the ones that really have to understand where the changes are coming from. In safeties, they might have a little bit of a different schematic that they have to do, but it's kind of a simple adjustment when it comes to that. It's usually the linemen and the linebackers that I think that have to really be there and playing in training camp when they have to hold the defense out there. So
it's going to be interesting to watch these injury reports. I mean, this year I think. Last year, I remember there being such a flood of injury reports day 1. This year was pretty big. Every year is a little bit different. We get our first football game on Tuesday. After we all enjoy the weekend, we'll come back. We'll see the Lions and the Chargers go on Tuesday.
Isn't it Thursday?
Thursday.
Thursday. Yeah.
Thursday for the Hall of Fame game. Let's see if this one we get a full game, unlike last year where we had the rain. The Thunder and Lightning cancel the game after somewhere in the third quarter. I don't expect to see too much of starters at all, if any starters, for either team.
Oh no, you're not.
I kind of miss that. We say it every year. I kind of miss seeing the starters in preseason. I really do. I think it negatively affects them. Especially look at week 1 and 2 in the league. The NFL doesn't seem to care that week 1 and 2 are kind of trash because people are so hyped that the regular season started that they feel it gets washed. And it does get washed by the average fan. But then the guys like us are going, man, how can we really judge what our team is when they still are in preseason mode on the field?
That's why you see a lot of sloppy games. Joe, you
honestly, though, I think even though they said that Justin Fields' injury is not significant, which is good news for them, I still think missing any camp for Justin Fields is not a good thing right now. Like, it's his first year with the Jets, new coaching, new system.
Yep.
Like, he needs every rep he can get. And so I just, I'm not saying it's going to tank their season, but like I was really hoping that he would get every rep, that he would, I really want to see Justin Fields make the most of this opportunity. Like, I'd like to see him succeed, but
I
Rusty
agree.
here. Come on now.
I mean, obviously he's going to be hitting the class.
I mean,
hard,
you didn't hear me say he's going to win the MVP, did you? I just said I'd like to see him succeed. I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to see a player who you think I would like to see him succeed. And so in order to do that, you need to have everything go well, like camp, you should be there. Like you need to be there and pick up the system, like learn the timing with your receivers, things like that. And so it sucks for him because I think it's not the best thing that could happen for them, but we'll see. I mean, we'll see how long he's out. If he misses a week, they're not even in pads yet. I don't think.
Today. Justin Fields is back out there today.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
John brings up a good point about the joint practices are good, and they are. We do see more of them now than we used to. I think that's kind of like coaches realizing that not playing their starters in preseason, they need to do something. And the joint practices are good because that's more of the benchmark that they're looking at for their teams than these preseason games now.
I like these joint practices and all, and they're a good middle ground, but I'd trade them in a heartbeat to bring back 2-a-days.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
A lot of times these joint practices just turn into huge brawls anyway.
They can get chippy, but they don't always get chippy. I mean,
that is the NFL promoting the smallest thing they can possibly promote is these joint practices. That's why they got them, because people are going to come out and see that.
They don't always get chippy. Like, think about it. You have 16 joint practices going on, and one of them gets chippy. Oh my God! Look at that! All they do is fight. Like, dude, of the 16 joint practices, one of them got a little chippy. Really?
If it was that simple, Ken, because last year there was a lot of teams in joint practice that were going at it. So yeah, it's a lot of frustration. A lot of people being real competitive. I mean, personally speaking, I remember when the Lions had hosted the Giants. I think was it last year or the year before?
No, it was last year.
They were fighting like it wasn't nothing. It's like every 2 minutes there was a scrum breaking out. I was like, dude, play football. Stop doing that. It's all right once in a blue moon to do that, but damn, you're doing WWF now.
Yeah, it's not just a little chippy. It's like full on. People are brawling, fighting. Helmets are coming off, and
And this is what Broski said here in the comments is about right? The 1s and 2s get more out of joint practices, and the preseasons are to fill out your roster.
There you go.
Well, when you keep taking preseason games away, you got to find somehow, because that's what the 4th preseason game used to be. Was all right. We're going to find out who's making the roster out of the bubble guys.
Yeah, I'm just worried that at some point the NFLPA is going to start complaining about the joint practices and something's with that. I mean, the NFLPA. Look, I don't understand the NFLPA sometimes. Okay, they're trying to protect their players and protect their brethren. Okay, get it. Then why are you doing things that actually contribute to things being worse for the players? Because I think the 2-a-days and some of this other stuff that they've kind of like legislated away through contracts has actually hurt the players. Yeah, it's easier on the players now for camp and that, but it hurts them in their careers. And I don't get the NFLPA sometimes. Like, I have a feeling at some point they're going to complain about something with these joint practices and try to negotiate them out in the next CBA.
But Ken, you're bringing up a much larger issue that is actually in the spotlight right now, which is, does the NFLPA actually have the players' best interests at heart? I don't know if you've been reading the news lately.
Thank you, Joe, because I was going to go there.
Like the head of the NFLPA just stepped down because there was some allegations of corruption and collusion with the league owners and with Goodell and everything. Like, it's like, does the NFLPA really have the players' best interests at heart? I don't believe so.
Which is just like it's the NFLPA, and it's by nature is a bunch of players and former players. It's like, you know what? This is a situation where you see where a union's gone bad. Unions can go bad just like anything else, and I guess this is the perfect case of that, right? It's just these guys are too busy enriching themselves, so the players are supposed to be protecting, and especially with some of the cases we're seeing coming out now with the collusion and this, that, and the other. I hate this part of football. It's like it was almost in a weird way better in the 70s and 80s where the NFLPA had virtually no power and teams did what teams did. The product on the field was definitely better. If I could get that back, but would have some of the contract protections and safety protections like the helmets and the concussion protocols, combine those two things, I wish we could. But like 2-a-days, more pads, more hitting in practice, more starters, first and second string guys playing the preseason than we get now. I wish we'd get that back while still being able to say, hey, look, like I said yesterday, well, we don't do 2 days because guys will get dehydrated and get heat stroke and die. It's called forced hydration, dumbass. The military's been doing it for a century plus. If we can do it, you can do it. And we're not making millions of dollars. I mean, simple stuff. And why they go the route they do instead, this path of easiness in a game that's hard, makes no sense to me.
Can I make an argument that it probably won't be very popular, but it's like, so let's use refereeing for an example, right? People love to bitch about refereeing, right? And then the argument that we hear is, well, they're humans, and you don't, if we go to fully automated refereeing, right, like you're taking the human element out of the game, right? Like it's human nature to make mistakes at times, and those mistakes impact the game. Well, it's kind of the same thing with the NFLPA, their relationship. Like, it's in nature that if you can influence something in your favor, you're going to do it. If you have billions of dollars, right, like the NFL does, and you can go and buy the leadership, it makes sense that you're going to business. It's smart business to do that. Like, I'm not saying I agree with it, but I'm just saying, like, we can't be shocked that this group of multi-billionaires went and like got in the back pocket of the NFLPA leadership. Like, if you were an owner, you'd probably want to do the same thing, unless, and I'm not saying you personally, I'm saying, like, if you were part of this conglomerate and you're making billions of dollars, it just makes sense to sort of grease the wheels when it comes time for CBAs, when it comes times for things like that.
Completely agree with you. And man, now I know I don't want to go back to 14 games. 17 is fine. Even if they go to 18, I'm fine with that. But I wish they would do 18 plus 3 preseasons, but it's going to be 18 and 2 because that's what the NFLPA is going to want. Robo refs. Okay, I mean, all of us here. Well, okay, at least a couple of us have some age. But look, even in Ken's day, being the young pup, back when we played sports as kids, we were always told the refs are a part of the game. Right?
That's it. Okay, give me Skynet.
Yeah, the refs are a part of a game. So like robo refs, and now like with baseball trying to do the digital strike zone where a computer calls balls and strikes. No, the umpire, the referee, it's always part of the game, and part of the and sometimes plays go your way, sometimes they don't. In the aggregate, it usually washes out even. Maybe not because of the timeliness, but in the aggregate, it washes out even. I mean, it's always been part of the game. I mean, I don't mind like doing replay, giving refs another opportunity to look at a play. Okay, fine, as long as it does. But in some cases, though, it's gone too far. It's become a distractor and takes away from the game. If you can do stuff like that and make it where it doesn't take away from the game, and you can correct the change, I mean, but how many games have we watched where like the telecaster sees a play and the replay a certain way, and the referee upholds the call? And all, oh my God, it's like, but once again, the human element has to be part of it. And the other side of that, which you're talking about, Joe, I agree with you. If I could grease the wheels of the NFLPA as an owner, oh yeah, I would too. That's business. That's the way it's done. So, Jesus, I mean, look, even like some of the guys who are the best referees in the NFL, like Ed Hockley's, right? Ed Hockley was revered as one of the better referees. He made some egregious calls throughout his career that when he was able to look back and reflect on, he's like, yep, that was probably not the right call, but here's why I made the call at the time. I love that part of the game, though. Even with that, I mean, you can't make everything zero defect. I guess is what we're trying to say, Joe. We can't have a zero defect game.
Yeah.
The defects are what make the games the game.
Mm-hmm. The human element.
I think a lot of this.
I don't know.
I think a lot of the element in the NFL is because of the things that were taken away from football. Defense is one of them. And it's because everybody wants to see his team go 55 to 45 and get. Hell no! Nobody wants to see that shit all the time. No. If you don't got a defense, yeah, that's one thing. But if you have a defense, I want to see you play defense. I want guys going out there headhunting. I don't give a damn.
Absolutely.
That's what the sport is. It's a gladiator sport. People still refuse to believe in that. It's dangerous. It doesn't make a difference how much padding you got on, what kind of new developed helmet you had on. It's still a gladiator sport. There's still going to be injuries from it. Fuck it. And they get a lot of money.
So, Brent, what would you rather see, a defensive battle or a shootout?
A defensive battle.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I'd pay money to see that.
Yeah. I mean, it's like baseball. Like, we'd rather see a pitcher duel or a home run derby. I'd rather see the pitcher duel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know, like baseball, but fans love the home run. Chicks dig the long ball. Okay, whatever. Basketball, they love the dunks when all they do is shoot threes because fans love threes. No, we don't. That's why I don't watch anymore. It's just a three-point shooting. I mean, a good defensive battle, a good pitcher's duel, a good defensive game in any sport, hockey too. A 1-0 game in hockey can be one of the best games you've ever seen. Lots of hitting, checking, stuff going on. I think the same is true in the NFL. You get a good defensive game where, like, quarterbacks are getting mauled and big hits are happening and interceptions and batted balls and fumbles. And, dude, I mean, that's just as big to me, as exciting as, oh, great, they just marched down. Now it's 52 to 46. Great.
Yeah.
After a while, the shootout gets kind of boring. It's like, okay, they're going to score again. A good defensive battle, though, where it's like the first team that maybe breaks through wins the game, like that's the game. Because now it's like the gladiator sport and the chess match that goes along with it. Right? The offensive coordinator versus the defensive coordinator versus the captains on each side of the ball. And the first one that breaks through is going to win the game.
Hey, Luca, what did you mean that people are nuts about the Chiefs and the refs?
Oh, say how the Chiefs have bought the refs. Someone said in the comments that the NFL refs don't have the same power as MLB umpires with changing the strike zone. But I think that's a response to that, and Luca's right because NFL refs can change an NFL game just as easily as an MLB umpire or NBA ref or NHL ref, any referee in any sport.
But I'm just trying to find out, is Luca on the side of, is he saying that the refs do not favor the Chiefs? Because like it's not just Raider fans that are saying that, dude. Like,
oh yeah, you can definitely see a little bit of rough left over on Mahomes' lip.
No, what Manhauer just said, Skrill is pointing to it, and yeah, like, oh, flag on the play, you hit the player too hard. Really?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
What's that one called? Roughing the tackle? Roughing the guy you tackled or something? I mean, that's just getting stupid.
I'm waiting for the roughing the passer call when one quarterback scratches his nuts a little too hard.
But, Luca, even if it's two bad offenses, I mean, a good defensive game, because then it's like whoever gets a defensive touchdown might actually win the game. Like, that makes those bad games fun to watch.
Yeah,
that's
but it's
the difference with football and baseball. If you get a really bad team in baseball, it can be really hard to watch because they give up a ton of runs. Their defense, errors all over the place. You watch two bad football teams have two bad offenses, but their defenses are somewhat good. That can be a fun game to watch because it's what defense is going to. Then it becomes like who can get a pick six? Who can get a?
Yeah, we're gonna say that's the only way it becomes entertaining. Because otherwise, to me, it kind of reminds me of like the 14-year-old beating up the 9-year-old when you got a good defense going up against a shitty offense.
Right. Bring back Paul Tagliabue. May he rest in peace.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, Luca. I think the Chiefs do get the benefit of many close calls and some not so close calls that go their way. But
Thursday night games. Yeah,
That's true too.
I mean,
Yeah,
but
and
no,
let's be honest.
yeah,
Do you
he
really
said
like a 9-6 game? Like,
Yeah.
who likes a
Bears.
field goal
Who was
fest?
that? Was that the Bears and who was that a couple years
The
ago? 9-6.
Vikings.
The Bears and
So that was
Vikings.
Atlanta in the Steelers, the first game, wasn't it?
Yeah, but here's the thing. I
Atlanta
mean,
won like 12-9 or some shit like that.
here's in defense of the NFL schedule making with that though. First off, sometimes when they make the schedule, you have a team that was really good the year before or tracking up the year before, and then for whatever reason they have a bad. They're just bad that year, right? And secondly, you can't have the same teams there on Monday and Thursday every week. So you got to sprinkle in between the European games, Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football, and Sunday Night Football. Like you can't go like maybe one or two teams you can like exclude, but you can't exclude that many teams from those games. So when you think like okay, the Bears Vikings game, you're thinking well, it's a division game. Division games are always good. Well, that one wasn't great, right? So I get it, but you can't blame the NFL for that because remember, like most of these podcasts, good morning, Darren. Most of these podcasts and everything else you're watching, they're basing it off of last year. And then like if they can, they're basing off some of the hype that comes out of the draft because shortly after the draft, right, the schedule drops. So I mean they're basing off last year's end and some hype off the draft. And that's what they're doing. And some of the early preseason moves. And that's how they have to base these matchups or marquee games. And sometimes they fall flat. But a lot of times we get great games.
I think the other thing too is that they had one Thursday night game on Thanksgiving. I mean, yeah, they need to start. That's another thing they need to start doing too. The NFL can do anything. So where you have your points where they schedule based on what happened last year, at some certain point in the year, they have the power to change the schedule to where it benefits the better teams at the moment. So if you have a Dallas versus Philadelphia, and they're both playing tremendously well, and they were put on the back burner on a Sunday night game, but you have like the Browns and the freaking Bengals playing on Monday Night Football, you could switch them over to Monday Night Football, and you can give them that time frame. That's an extra day for them to prepare, and just bring the Browns and Bengals back on Sunday. It's NFL has the power to do it. They just do dumbass shit.
But some of that's like moving a team from Sunday to Monday. It's a logistics issue there, right? Because teams, fly out when they fly
out. Be there anyway. That's what I'm saying, though. It's not that much logistics.
We see them flex games like same day. Like okay, the Bears Commanders game last year was supposed to be a noon start. It was flexed to the afternoon game. Like they can flex within the same day usually. But the flex of Sunday to Monday, and let's say they did it early in the week, but the logistical planning for these things, they do them 2-3 weeks out. So if you're switching a day, that becomes a nightmare. Logistically for the teams, they could do it, yes, but it can become logistically very tough. And they do flex. I mean, look, Sunday Night Football is a flex, right? After the first 2 weeks, right? When they start flexing, is it week 3, week 4?
I think it's past that even.
Yeah, it's way past that.
I
don't think they start flexing until midway.
Yeah,
is it midway.
Yeah, I think it's after the trade deadline.
At least that becomes a flex at some point. And look at you got to figure. Let's say out of every week, there's 3 primetime games, right? Monday night, Thursday night, and Sunday night. More times than not, we get 3 good games. If you go out of 30 games in 10 weeks, maybe we get 3 that are bad. That's not bad. That's really not bad. Here we go. Weeks 5 through 10, man hours saying it's flex time.
Luca.
Well, they flex to the end of the season, though, too.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Like 2 E's and D's.
Yeah.
2 E's and D's.
I don't think the Lions are going to sign Wilkins there, and maybe your Vikings will.
They don't really need him either. You got enough defense.
I was going to say, I don't know how many teams need a cripple, and if they do, let me put my name in that race.
Yeah, the
Right.
flex. Yeah, 10 hour.
Right.
Yeah, they could like the 2 hour, the 2 week thing. Like, yeah, they can't flex week of, but flexing, you can flex them 2 weeks out and move it. But then also though, there's the fan piece, and Luka. Let me bring him back up. Luka's a great case of this last year, and it wasn't at the fault of the NFL in this case. The fires that happened in LA last year, they moved the Rams-Vikings game, and they moved it to Arizona. Poor Luka, who is the road warrior, already had plane tickets, hotel, everything booked for LA. Then all of a sudden, he as the fan is trying to scramble to change it all to go to Arizona. Now Luka did, and I don't know how much he lost in the process, but that hurts the fans too who travel. And that's the other reason why, because Luka, how far out do you plan to buy your tickets for hotels and airlines? I bet it's more than 2 weeks out in most cases. And like, look at Woody; he's already bought his stuff to go to week 3 in Chicago. So if they were to flex that game out, he's out all that money. So there's the fan piece to that as well. Yeah, Luka, I wasn't saying it to you; I was just saying it to Darren. Because Darren's just coming on talking trash.
You don't know the defensive lineman either, Darren. Stop.
That would be a funny announcement too. It's like the Lions have signed Christian Wilkins to an injured reserve contract.
Y'all gonna stop at that injured reserve in the Lions. Y'all signed just as many injured reserves.
No, I'm with you, Bistrilla. I mean, like, at this point, you don't really worry because they can come back because the rules are different in the preseason than they are in the regular season when these guys are in the NFI and PUP. Like, they can come on and off anytime they want right now. And sometimes they do it because, hey, we put Bistrilla on the NFI list. They don't have to tell you why, what the injury is, but we put him on the list because he's going to his brother's wedding. So we're just going to throw him in the NFI so people know, just assume he's injured, but he's actually doing a personal thing that a team is allowed to do. The teams can get creative, and they get creative with it. I mean, we could just say, well, Strilla's going to a wedding. Well, yeah, but then becomes blowback on the player. We'll just say he's injured.
He's more important than training camp. Fuck yeah!
Yeah, I was gonna say, come on, these people aren't robots. They're actual real people that have real lives outside of this.
Yeah, but you've got these fans, the trolls of the world. Now someone start talking trash and posting stuff on the internet, and then they avoid it this way. Hey, Joe, we'll put Joe. Joe's on the NFI. He just has a slight injury that needs to be taken care of. Really, Joe's take care of some family business. If they say, well, yeah, he had family business. He's going to his cousin's wedding. Certain fans would be, oh my God, he doesn't care. He's not taking it serious. Blah blah blah. And why? That's just one way you don't have to even listen about it because they hear, oh, he's injured. Oh, okay. I mean, that's a smart tool for the team. It doesn't create a distraction. And I'm with you guys. Like, yeah, the guy, if he's got a wedding, go to the wedding. But you know as well as I do, with all the clickbaiters and everyone else out there, all of a sudden it becomes a thing.
I just do this. Fuck y'all. You ain't paying me.
You.
My owner's paying me. You ain't paying me. So go for yourself.
I see
it's like Tarek Skubal on the Tigers right now. He's going to get paternity leave, which is hilarious that they put that for a man. But his wife is expecting, obviously, so they got him on paternity leave. I said, yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah, the Army started doing that. When I had my kids, I had 0 days off. Now they get like 30 days of permissive TDY. It's like, really?
That's not a bad thing, man.
You're gonna love this.
Speaking of troll, there you go. Right.
Yeah, I was gonna get this because it's a two-parter. Man Howard says, so I see a Lions guy, a Raiders guy, a Packers, and a Bears. I see 15 wins total from you 4, and none of those come from the Packers. Drugs must be good where Manhauer is these days. He must have gotten hit too hard coaching the game yesterday.
Oh, well, you don't hate on leave. That's not what we're saying. You got that totally wrong, bro.
Yeah. Wait, you got more leave than your wife did? You got 9 weeks and she only got 6 and she's the one who had the kid?
That's crazy.
That's crazy, dude.
How does that work? And
There's nothing wrong with
She has to work at a shitty job.
Maybe he needed more emotional support than she.
There's nothing wrong with paternity leave though. Like
No,
I think paternity leave is a good thing, man. Like who wants to you're gonna go watch your wife have a kid and then you got to go back to work like the next day. Like your wife's gonna need help around the house. Like she's not gonna be able to even get out of bed for a week, dude. Who's gonna take care of her? Like
Oh, I was gonna say your job don't give a shit about that 90% of the time. They're gonna tell you put 2 glasses of water on that and stand next to her and get your ass to work.
And you need a better job.
Yeah.
Lucas,
oh, jeez, Luca.
the words of our viewers.
In my younger days,
displayed on
I did try.
Hey,
but
then you might become a caged Viking at some point when you can't pay all that child support.
And she works at a hospital. That's fucking.
Hospitals are terrible for how they treat their employees.
Wow, how did we get in this rabbit hole?
You lived in Canada. Holy shit!
Oh my god! If the NFL can you imagine if the NFL did that for the players? Oh, you had a child during the season, you can take 4 games off. What? No. Oh, the things that we get into during camp, I tell you. Paternity leave for football players, that would be interesting.
You didn't see that on your crystal ball today?
Was not on my bingo card, no.
No.
That'll be on the next CBA.
Yeah, no doubt.
I don't know. With what we've been hearing on the next CBA, the Players Association might be having to pay money back to the owners.
When it comes to the next CBA and the WNBA, and look at the WNBA, like they
is that
their
why?
CBA, and now they're doing the pay us our word. Like you just signed your CBA. How about you put butts in seats, right? Well, now Caitlin's doing it, even though we all want her out of the league. Caitlin's doing it, so we should get more money. I think if the NFLPA has one thing they can push on, is there needs to be a significant increase in the cap. Right at the point right now where even the Vikings, who aren't a major market team, are making $1 billion a year in profit, I think they can extend the cap another $100 million. Like I know they do about $20 million a year. Okay, that's fine, but they need a big jump again. So you get that whole player versus owner money. I think if really like another $100 million jump, single $100 million jump to raise it on top of the normal jump. So for that year, it'd probably go up 120 mil. I think that would help. Not that the players aren't making good money, but help with that divide. Not that the divide got bigger, but I mean, I think that would be one thing that they could and should argue for in the CBA is a bigger salary cap. I mean, you think about that's the thing they should really be going after is like they should be getting forget about all the guaranteed money and no more 2-a-days. Get the cap raised even further. That's what they should be putting their efforts into.
But why? Like it's just all that's gonna do is raise the quarterback market again, and now you'll have a $75 million quarterback.
Yeah, but look at. Yeah, the NFL will strike again and lower the contract. But look at if the teams are making $1 billion a year in profit, right? And what's the salary cap right now? $325, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Make it $425. Make it more money going to the players who are generating the revenue. I mean, does that mean you might get a $75 or $80 million quarterback? Yes, it does. But look at. This is one of those instances where I kind of side with the players. Let the players get a bigger chunk. If the players are generating the revenue, then they should get some more of that revenue. So now instead of making $1 billion, the owners are making $900 million. That's still a hefty profit they're making. So I would not be. And look, don't go raising ticket prices. You don't need to do that because that's unfortunately what they would do, though. But I mean, get rid of 2-a-days. Get rid of we can't wear pads at practice. We can't, we can't practice too hard stuff. That's like hurting the game. How about just pay the guys more money? Forget the
How
guarantee.
about stop giving them stupid ass guarantees? Oh, your contract is 90% guaranteed. Man, come on.
Yeah,
Dude.
I mean, the guarantee thing. I think I'm not a big fan of the guarantees overall. But if a team wants to give you a guaranteed contract, that's on them. That's a negotiating tool you have. It's a negotiating tool you have, maybe with some teams. But I think also they're 100% is a step too far. Should some of it be guaranteed? Sure. Like that first year should be guaranteed. I'm good with that. After year one being fully guaranteed, no, because how many times have we seen a guy sign a big contract and then be dog shit?
Right, exactly. That's where they should have stipulations in your contract. You want to get paid big boy money, then damn it, you're going to sign a big boy contract. That's what you're going to do. Because if you sit there and you suck after you sign this contract, dude, we got the right to kick your ass right off the team because that ain't how it's working. I ain't about to give you all this money and you ain't producing.
I would not follow what the NBA and MLB are doing right now. Just saying. What?
No more cap?
No, what the NBA and MLB. Actually, what? Of all the leagues, if there was a league I would look at and maybe institute some of what they've done, it's the NHL. Who's limited? They don't let them do the big 15-year contracts. They still have a salary cap. They've done some things that have actually been beneficial to players and ownership. Like if you want to look at a league, don't look at MLB and NBA. I think the NBA has been killing itself with a lot of things, with the politicalness and the way they've done contracts and that. And MLB isn't doing itself any favors, but the NHL is still growing. It's the only one outside of the NFL that's really growing like it's growing. That's the league you probably would rather. Yeah, they have a salary floor, not a cap, and we have that too, right? Through the NFLPA, they have to spend a certain piece of their. So,
that's right.
I look more at the NHL than I would at MLB or NBA in terms of what to do with players. But hey, everyone, we're almost out of time. Have a great weekend. Be sure to thank you for joining us anytime you want to be on. You're more than welcome. Joe, of course, had to jump off. Everyone in the comments, thank you for your comments. Everyone, enjoy your week. And don't forget, Packer Backers are on tonight. And then we got the full slate of weekend shows. And Woody's still on vacation, so make sure to yell at him for enjoying life while you have to work. Everyone, have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday, and we have some more football. Have a great one, everyone.